Introducing Indian River Connections, a collaboration to spotlight Indian River's characters. Interviews, biographies, life stories, and projects. These are the people behind the scenes. Business owners, entrepreneurs, journalists, activists. Extraordinary everyday citizens, each with a story.
That was
all right.
Each
All
with
right.
a story. I'm like, that's me. I've got a story.
Yes, you do have a story. Well, welcome to the. Yeah, you're welcome, buddy. Welcome to the Connecting People and Places podcast under the umbrella of Indian River Connections. This podcast is brought to you by Voices for Children of Okeechobee and the Treasure Coast. And I have a guest on tonight. I got my good friend Tony Aromandi from the Buttery Roller Company. What's up, buddy?
What's up, brother? How are you, John? Mr.
Man,
Batman. Do I call you John or Batman on here, or did I just reveal your secret identity?
You can reveal a secret identity.
Okay. I'm sorry. Forced habit. I should have asked that before we got started.
So those who don't know, I'm known as Batman at the hockey rink that Tony does his tournaments at for his company that he started, and I wanted to bring him on to tell his story because I've been watching his story from a distance the last 5-6 years, and it's really been impressive. And so with the Connecting People and Places podcast, this is what we do. We bring people stories of intriguing, entrepreneurship and creativity. So give us a little background of how you started before I got to know you and up until, where we're at today.
Yeah, well, I guess, what brought us together is obviously hockey. I got wind that there was a league at the Halpatioke Parks on Thursdays, the Over the Hill League for, guys 30 and over. So I started playing there, and that's how we met. But, obviously, meeting then, I was, just fresh in my 30s or late 20s at that point. So, I'm 36 now. Before that, growing up, I was in bands and I was a musician and, traveled, touring and doing all that good stuff a little bit. That was the focus of my life. And then once that all kind of stopped, I fell back in love with playing hockey. And, that became, a weekly, bi-weekly, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, as much as I could play, I was playing. And then, that leads us to Halpatioke, meeting you. And that's where our friendship began there.
Yeah. And so when you started, the Buttery Biscuits, that's when I got to know you. You started this team that you guys were going around traveling, doing all these tournaments, and you're doing all these different things. And I'm watching, I'm going, wow, these guys got a little thing going here. What's this? This is Butterhood that they started, So
yeah, the Butterhood, right? So the Buttery Biscuits. It's been 13 years now, and it's a lot of the same core dudes. And I can't take credit for the creation of the Buttery Biscuits, both as team and in name. I met a bunch of awesome dudes that brought me in, and I got to be, we started the Buttery Biscuits together, and then I just kind of ran with it from there, with the group just evolving over the years. Like I said, it's a lot of the same core guys, but new guys have come and gone. And right now I think we've been playing with the same 8 to 10 guys for probably 8 years. There's really not a lot of movement there. So we're a tight-knit group, and then we're also just I love people. I love shooting the shit. I'm sorry if I'm not supposed to curse, but I just like shooting the shit with the dudes. So hockey's a great place for that, right? And through that, making friends, and also not having any other real competitive roller hockey to play in town anymore. Once Skate Zone closed their roller rink and turned it into a third ice sheet, that kicked up all of the roller guys here to the curb. So there was really nothing except for what we later found was the Andres Roller League, which in a lot of ways inspired me. It know all these guys that are playing. I know a ton of guys that aren't playing, that miss playing. And it was like, you know, instead of just traveling out of town a couple times a year, doing one nationals tournament and a couple smaller ones, like, why don't we just start doing our own little Ironman tournaments here? You know, let's try one. So we tried two, and it was like, oh, well, what? And then what I learned from that, you know, I was like, oh, we could actually make this really cool, and we could do this draft thing. And then it's not like you're entering your teams, and it's like, oh, but what if you don't know the guys? And I was like, we'll make cards for them. So we make like cards for everybody, and they're silly. And I get to roast everybody, but also say a little bit about how they play the game. So I think that is kind of the light bulb goes off, and you see guys respond to it, and you know there's minimal, you know, bullshit on the rink. You know, it's mostly like it's competitive, but it's like good time. No one's really trying to take your head off, you know. So
and that's what,
that was really the start of it, of Buttery Roller. And after a couple, I think we did it's like a Thanksgiving tournament of 23. And after that, it was like, okay, let's do something. Then we did the New Year's Day one, which we did the little cards.
I have my card.
That it was like, oh, I've got to make this a business and just have it be, you know, my side thing.
Well, I think that, you know, and what you did, and what I noticed is that when you when you guys were traveling with the Butterhood and the Buttery Biscuits, you were going all these tournaments, like you said, and you were like, well, wait a minute, I could do this in my backyard. Like, I could do this where we don't have to travel all these, but we still will, because you brought so many people to this area to play roller hockey in the past year and a half. That it's actually pretty mind blowing. I mean, I don't think you give yourself enough credit of the amount of people that you've brought to this area to participate, and not only start a business, but then we'll get into this too, this foundation and everything else that comes full circle, and the brotherhood that I've seen with it. It's just it's really wild, dude. Like, you brought it here, and it's only going to get better and better.
Well, thank you. Yeah, you know, I'm really proud of what we've like done so far and all that, but you know, I'm not one to really gas myself up too much about it. You know, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, I really love just being around everybody and doing my favorite thing and joking and having a couple beers. Like, that's an awesome way to spend a day, a night, a weekend, a life, is just being with people you care about and enjoy being around. You know, that's what it's about. So to get to turn that into a business, I'm super like grateful for it. And I hope I can continue to scale it so I can do more of it, without having to do like normal jobs, you know, i.e. like web design development. You know, it's great, but it's not what I want to, you know, do all day, every day. So, you know, thank you for the kudos, but we're not there yet. So I'm not ready to like celebrate.
Yeah, no, of course not. There's always more to do, and you know, and again, the best is yet to come when it comes to that. But I mean, seeing how you built it and what you've done, it's really pretty cool to see. I'm gonna pull up one of the videos that we talked about before the show.
Cool.
One that'll just give us people a little insight of what you just said, the camaraderie and everything you've built to this point. You know, kind of amplifies what this video is showing.
When I step in the room, the club go crazy. The lights come on, but I gotta stay true. Don't let my mind go lazy. Booty shaking on my son for a little bit of cash.
It's just the little stuff like that.
Yeah, you know, the little quick hits. They're a lot of fun. We have a great videographer we've been using since January. I guess he jumped on somewhere around there. Anyways, Maximus, he's awesome, and he's been a lot of fun to work with. So I certainly don't have the equipment or the eyes or like all that editing like that. That's a little beyond me. I can do quick little stuff, but Maximus is the man.
No, it definitely amplifies what you're doing and what you're bringing together out there, and it's kind of, you know, it's good to record all that, and it's fun for me to see too how you're doing it, and you know, and how you're able to document everything that you're doing, and be able to use that to build, you know, the foundation and the leagues that you're doing too. Tell me a bit about the the Buttery Roller Foundation, how you really got to that, to come to that idea that you wanted to do that.
Yeah, well, I think, I mean, there's kind of a lot of things that led to that. I've always wanted to be able to like do something I love and then being able to help others with that and have it mean a little bit more. I think that's important to me. A,
Yeah.
B, the Buttery Biscuits, we talk about the Butterhood, when we started, one of my best friends, Abdullah Dajani, was, like a founding member, right? And he was the best damn hockey player and the best human you could know. Super kind, humble, just awesome friend. It'll be 7 years ago in June that he took his life. Just tough times, and he was a quiet dude, and that changed all of us. So we've worn like the suicide awareness ribbon with his number, since then. Just kind of keep him around. We talk about him all the time, one way or another. He comes up. So then it's like, okay, well, we're doing these Ironman tournaments. We started, a weekly league on 2 different nights, and we're doing these bigger tournaments too, like the Buttery Cups, which are like the full team tournaments for anybody who doesn't really know how that works. But so then it was like, hey, well, why don't we like do it for something? And the obvious, if we're going to do it for anything, especially the first one, it's got to be for mental health awareness, and get people just talking about it. So with that, to honor Abdullah. Something that stuck out to me that I read recently from one of the charities we teamed up with, Same Here Global. They posted something. It was 1 in 5 people are diagnosed with mental illness, but 5 in 5 deal with mental health issues every day. There's everything that we go through in our days, interactions we have, the tough day at work, whatever. We've all got our own stuff going on. Life is overwhelming at times. We got to like talk about it and be cool talking about it, because like, why wouldn't we? So the community we've built through hockey and we have there is that outlet, and it was that outlet for Abdullah. And when we lost Skate Zone and that weekly hockey, that's when his mental health went down, because he didn't have that. So yeah. I'm happier when the hockey's in my life. I'm happier when I'm around the fellas and the gals and we're just hanging out. It's important as adults that we have that. We don't get so sucked into our, just everyday lives and just on that grind, right? Like, got to pay bills, got to take care of the kids, like a lot of stuff going on. We got to take care of ourselves too. And we got to talk to our friends about it, make sure they're doing all right, because you just never know. So that's really what fueled the creation of the Buttery Roller Foundation. And Wheeling for Wellness next month will be the first thing we do. And that's going to be emotional. And it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun, but it's going to be something.
No, it's definitely, like we talked about on the phone earlier today when we were planning the podcast. Like, you're building this festival, this atmosphere, and I look at it as, and it's, for me, it's an outlet. So, like you said, for your friend, that this all came full circle, in one way or another, because of what happened with him and the tragedy. But everybody turns those tragedies into a triumph by doing these things and remembering these people and making sure that, look, let's keep this alive because of the reason that we need an outlet like this to go to do something, to get that frustration out playing hockey, and something to look forward to, because I talk to guys all the time, and they look forward to Thursday night. They look forward to what you're doing. They like really like with Tony's doing here, like this really is great for me and my family and just everything that I am able to do right in my backyard. And I have to travel, like you said, to all these different places to play in these tournaments. Right. You're bringing it to the backyard, the awareness.
Yeah, baby. We got to get out of the house, got to do stuff.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, I mean, like I said, it keeps you going, and the camaraderie. Now tell me a little bit about the 4 C's that we talked about earlier.
It's community, culture, camaraderie, competition. And those 4 things, that's what we have here. We've got the community, the camaraderie, the culture, I love the group of people that are out, and then all the new people that are like finding us and coming into like the growth from season 1 to season 2 of the Buttery Beer Leagues was like was crazy. I think it was like 40% season 1 to 2 or more. I mean, I could be way off there. One league went from 5 to 8 teams, and the other went from 6 to 7. So like that was I didn't see that coming. And then, like now the social media is starting to pop off a little bit. I've been doing like funny, like voiceovers and stuff like that. So that's different, but I put personality into things.
Right. You've been getting a lot of views, but that's part of it. That's funny. And speaking of that, let's go ahead and pull that one. And pull that one up. If I have it here. Oh God! All right.
Don't mind me, just buzzing. You ever just skirt, hoop, hoop, a boop? Don't mind me, just buzzing. You ever just skirt, hoop, hoop, a boop?
But that's what makes it fun, and like I talked about before, and then you never know, you're going to find these videos of yourself on social media going, oh, wow, look, there's me on making a save. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Or letting a goal go in. It's like, but it's
I need to start. If any of these videos ever go viral, whoever gets roasted on the clip, I got you on a beer. But I'm trying to get those clips for sure.
Right.
But I think, and that leads to this is all supposed to be fun, dude. Like all roads lead to beer league. Like we're not going pro. We're and even if you are, we have some young kids in our league that are super talented. They're like Lacher, well, actually, I mean, we're about to take a pro team to Nashville, so like. But the point is that like hockey at this point in our lives, especially roller hockey, like this is for fun. So we need to like enjoy it and like be competitive and be the best you can be, sure. But like respect the guy next to you, and make more friends than you do enemies. Hockey's always going to get the juices flowing. And I love that about the game. It's fun to get a little freaking spicy, but respecting the guy next to you and not burying them into the boards and like hurting somebody who has to go to work the next day. Like, we got to keep it fun and not take ourselves so seriously and have a laugh. And I think I know for me, when I'm out there like having fun, I play a lot better than when I'm out there freaking, like pissed off, Captain Serious. Like the fun brings the good out of all things. So like let it roll out there too.
Keep it
I think that's a part of the Buttery experience, is that you're gonna show up and you're gonna be surrounded by dudes having fucking fun.
So there's no doubt about that. That's all. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I've made a lot of new friends out there. I have people reach out to me, and ask me questions about like, certain things you're doing in the league and stuff. And it's kind of cool to see that even after the draft, people were excited. Like, hey, I heard you got picked first round, or, it's like, it just gets that excitement, like you said, so.
Yeah. The draft is so like silly, cause again, we're a bunch of adults who are paying to do this. And we have basically our own like fantasy keepers draft league. Like, it's sick. Like, how fun, couple guys get to, be the GMs of it. We do trades, like,
You're doing
when we did
stats,
the live
you're doing
draft party,
everything.
I think there was like 2 different like live trades there. Like,
Yeah,
what is going
awesome.
on here?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. I'm very proud of that, of how fun it is.
Yeah.
With everything else, I've yet to celebrate.
You took a situation and turned it into something like this. Let's don't forget about your sponsors too. I'm going to pull your sponsors, give some shout outs to everybody.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of rad sponsors. Some of the mainstays, from the beginning: IsoSpec Health, Black Sheep CrossFit, Silver Sparrow Tattoos, Gatsby Printworks. They're our newest. They do all our apparel. And we've been doing a bunch of stuff and have a bunch of stuff planned for Wheeling for Wellness.
That's all.
And then all these Ice Lab is actually the title sponsor for Wheeling for Wellness, and that's the pro shop at Palm Beach Skate Zone. Really awesome people, and I was so floored by their contribution.
That's
I didn't expect that. And then everybody else here, it's all great local businesses, good people. And they're all linked on our website. Yeah, so we sold out in 23 hours.
Wow.
I posted it, went to bed, woke up, and it was sold out. So we ended up actually expanding to start local teams on Thursday night, the 15th. It won't have all the hoopla, the food trucks, the DJs, the vendors. That'll all start Friday night, the 16th. And then I mean, we like I said, food trucks, DJs, there's going to be a mobile bar, different vendors, some keynote speakers. Abdullah's family is going to come on, I believe, Sunday. So I'm really, really excited to see them. And there's going to be a lot of great stuff going on. Saturday and Sunday are definitely like the busy days. I should have the schedule posted. Probably early next week, late next week, sometime next week.
That's awesome, man. Wow. Well, is there anything else you want to tell us about any of the event? Anything else you got coming up that you want to put out there?
I think right now, I'm completely focused on Wheeling for Wellness. Super excited about that. So really, I would just love if local people who don't know Buttery or don't even know hockey, like, come check it out. It's going to be a cool event, and you'll be able to get some great food, couple drinks, enjoy the show. So that's big. And then right after that, we're going to another tournament called the Wish Cup in Nashville, which benefits the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And we're taking 5 teams up there, 5 adult teams, going to be up there for 10 days. So we have a pro team, 3 teams in the A division, and another team in the club division. So super excited about that. That's going to be fun. And one more thing about Wheeling for Wellness, just the charities that we're working with. I want to touch on them locally. Finding a Lost Voice, ran by my good friend Jordan Myers, was also a musician. That's how we met back in the day. And then he got sober, and he does Finding a Lost Voice, which helps people get help, helps people who can't afford therapy. It'll pay for their therapy for 3 months. So really cool stuff. So he'll be there chatting you up. You can't miss him. And then also Eric Kusin at Same Here Global, which does a lot of grassroots education just about mental health awareness and all different assets. He's a incredible speaker, and is very beloved. So I'm really excited to have both those charities with us.
That's awesome.
All the sponsors for the tournament are filled, but please, if you'd like to make a donation, please reach out. They're on the website, Buttery Roller. If you click on Wheeling for Wellness and then sponsors, donors, it'll take you to this page, and it'll give you the information there. You can just reach out.
Perfect.
So I guess that's really all I have to plug. I'm sure I was just yapping my head off this whole time, but it's kind of fun for the course.
Perfect, man. No, I appreciate you joining us. Just we'll keep people updated on what you're doing. And I also want to thank Voices for Children, Okeechobee, and the Treasure Coast that be our sponsor for the Connecting People in Places podcast, brought to you by Indian River Connections. So we're going to put this out. We'll probably put this out the end of probably the beginning of next week, and then we'll go from there.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for having me, dude. I appreciate you. I love you. Keep on doing your thing. And follow us on Instagram, Buttery Roller Co. Easy peasy, baby.
Easy. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will see you on the next episode of the People in Places podcast. All right. So let's talk about the hands that have helped you over this journey, that you've been going through with the Butterhood.
Yeah, dude, it certainly couldn't do it all myself. That's for sure. There's a lot of people jump in and help out, be it just helping pick something up, clean it up around the rink. But, the main people, I've really got to thank Leroy Jenkins. He's been my right-hand man. I've bugged him way too many times throughout the day for a dude who has a blue-collar job where he works his ass off. He always takes the call. And he always gives me good feedback and is honest with me. He shows up, he helps out. BJ Price, another dude who works his bag off, and I'm bugging a lot. Just, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And he's calling me, hey, do you need this? Do you need that? Can I do this? Can I do that? And that's just like unbelievable. Doesn't really give it. He gets to play for free. But he's not even getting paid, both these guys. Dean Wolf, he refs most our games, shows up. If he can stand and he's not sick, he's there. Leah, Leah's our scorekeeper. Supreme, the girl refuses to take breaks. She loves it, and love her to death. Super grateful for her always being in the score box and keeping things going. And then it's like the board of the foundation, that's a crew right there. So Joey LaRocco, Justin Caton, Ricky Grinnan, Original Biscuit, Abdullah's best friend, and salt of the earth human and awesome friend. And this all means so much to me, and I think it could probably mean even more to Ricky. And he's just the best. So there's that. Who did I forget? I got distracted. Victor Albert, the man, the best goalie, the Vic Wall. He's an absolute animal, and we really probably got to stop stroking him so much, but he deserves it. He's a beauty. And really, like, he helps out so much with the leagues, like picking up extra games when goalies are sick, injured, out of town. Like, if Vic's able to, he always picks up an extra game, and like that saves games on nights, where guys wouldn't get to play without that. So Vic's the man. All their girlfriends and wives. So many people. It's really, taking an army, and a lot of the guys just hanging out around the rink, just like asking to like do this or do that, or just help out. And that's why this community, and it is a community, and there is that culture. It's not because of me. I may get to drive the bus, but like it's all these guys that are right beside me and right behind me. Being themselves, So I'm super lucky to have all these people, supporting me and supporting this and getting to enjoy it. That's what it's all about,
And that's what you need. You need a group of people that you can trust, and that that you can go to them for anything. And that's the Butterhood right there. That's it.
Butterhood, baby.
Introducing Indian River Connections, a collaboration to spotlight Indian River's characters. Interviews, biographies, life stories, and projects. These are the people behind the scenes. Business owners, entrepreneurs, journalists, activists. Extraordinary everyday citizens, each with a story.
Nailed it. Boom.